This is from Volume 3 of The Poem of the Man God by Maria Valtorta, Episode 297. The Little Orphans, Mary and Matthias. It was written on the 8th of October, 1945. I see the Lake of Merom again, in a dull, wet day. Mud and clouds, silence and fog. The horizon disappears in the fog. The Herman chains are buried under blankets of low clouds. But from the place where I am, a high tableland near the little lake, which is grey and yellowish because of the mud of 1,000 swollen little streams and because of the November overcast sky, one has a good view of this little sheet of water fed by the high Jordan, which flows out of it to feed the larger lake of Gennesaret. It is getting dark, and the evening is becoming more and more gloomy and wet, while Jesus walks along the road which crosses the Jordan after Lake Merom, and he then takes a lane towards a house. Jesus says, "You will put here the vision of the little orphans, Matthias and Mary, which you saw on August 20th, 1944. Another sweet vision of Jesus and two children. I say so because I see that Jesus, while passing along a path between fields, which must have been sown recently, because the soil is still soft and dark as it looks just after being sown, stops to caress two children, a little boy not more than 4 years old, and a little girl about 8 or 9. They must be very poor children because they are wearing poor, faded garments, which are also torn, and their faces are sad, thin. Jesus does not ask any questions. He only gazes at them while he caresses them. He then hastens towards a house at the end of the path. It is a country house, well built, with an outside staircase leading from the ground up to a terrace, on which there is a vine pergola, now bare of grapes and leaves. Only an odd yellow leaf hangs swinging in the damp wind of a bad autumn day. Some doves are cooing on the parapet of the house, waiting for rain, which the overcast sky is promising. Jesus, followed by his apostles, pushes the little rustic gate of the low rubble wall surrounding the house and enters the yard, which we would rather call a threshing floor, where there is a well and a stone oven in the corner. I suppose that is what the little closet is, the walls of which are black with smoke, which is coming out even now, and is blown towards the ground by the wind. Hearing the sound of footsteps, a woman looks out of the closet, and when she sees Jesus, she greets him joyfully, and runs to inform the people in the house. An elderly, stout man comes to the door of the house, and hastens towards Jesus. "It is a great honor, Master, to see you," he exclaims, greeting him. Jesus greets him, "Peace be with you," and adds, "It is getting dark, and it is about to rain. I beg you to give shelter and a piece of bread to me and my disciples." "Come in, Master. My house is yours. The maidservant is about to take the bread out of the oven. I am happy to offer it to you, with the cheese of my sheep and the fruit of my fields. Come in." Because the wind is cold and damp, and he kindly holds the door open and bows when Jesus passes. But he suddenly changes tone, addressing somebody he sees, and he says wrathfully, "Are you still here? Go away. There is nothing for you. Go away. Have you understood? There is no room here for vagabonds." And he mumbles, "And perhaps thieves, like you." A thin, weeping voice replies, "Have mercy, sir. At least a piece of bread for my little brother. We are hungry." Jesus, who had gone into the large kitchen, which is cozy because of the big fire, which serves also as a light, comes to the threshold. His countenance has already changed. With a severe and sad expression he asks, not the host, but in general. He seems to be asking the silent yard, the bare fig tree, the dark well, "Who is it that is hungry?" "I, sir, I and my brother. Just a piece of bread, and we shall go away." Jesus is by now outside, where it is getting darker and darker because of the twilight and the impending rain. "Come here," he says. "I am afraid, sir." "Come, I tell you. Do not be afraid of me." The poor girl appears from behind the corner of the house. Her little brother is holding on to her shabby little tunic. They look timidly at Jesus, and with fear in their eyes at the landlord, who casts a nasty look at them and then says, "They are vagabonds, master, and thieves. Only a little while ago I found her scraping near the oil mill. She certainly wanted to go and steal something. I wonder where they came from. They do not belong to this area." Jesus pays little or no attention to him. He gazes at the little girl's emaciated face and untidy plates. 2 pigtails beside her ears, tied at the ends with the strips of a rag. But Jesus' countenance is not severe while he looks at the poor wretch. He is sad, but he smiles to encourage her. Is it true that you wanted to steal? Tell me the truth. No, sir. I asked for a little bread because I am hungry. They did not give me any. I saw an oily crust over there on the ground, near the oil mill, and I went there to pick it up. I am hungry, sir. I was given only 1 piece of bread yesterday, and I kept it for Matthias. Why they did not put us in the grave with our mother? The little girl weeps desolately, and her little brother imitates her. Do not weep. Jesus comforts her, caressing and drawing her close to himself. Tell me, where are you from? From the plain of Esdraelon. And have you come so far? Yes, sir. Has your mother been dead long? Have you no father? My father died killed by sunstroke at harvest time, and my mother died last month, and the baby she was giving birth to died with her. She weeps more and more. Have you no relatives? We come from so far. We were not poor. Then my father had to work as a servant, but he is now dead, and mother with him. Who was his master? Ishmael the Pharisee. Ishmael the Pharisee. It is not possible to describe how Jesus repeats that name. Did you come away of your own will, or did he send you away? He sent me away, sir. He said, the street is the place for starving dogs. And you, Jacob, why did you not give some bread to these children? Some bread, a little milk, and a handful of hay on which they might rest their tired bodies. But, Master, I have just enough bread for myself, and there is only little milk in the house. They are like stray animals. If you treat them kindly, they will not go away any more. And you have no room and food for these 2 unhappy children? Can you truthfully say that? The rich crops, the plenty, the wine, the much oil and fruit which made your estate famous this year, why did they come to you? Do you remember? The previous year, hail destroyed your crops, and you were worried about your future life. I came, and I asked for some bread. You had heard me speak one day, and you remained faithful to me. And in your affliction you opened your heart and your house to me, and you gave me bread and shelter. And what did I say to you going out the following morning? Jacob, you have understood the truth. Be always merciful, and you will receive mercy. Because of the bread you gave the Son of Man, these fields will give you rich crops, and your olive trees will be laden with olives, like the grains of sand on the seashore, and the branches of your apple trees will bend towards the ground. You received all that, and this year you are the richest man in the district, and you refused 2 children a piece of bread. But you were the rabbi, and because I was, I could have turned stones into bread. They cannot. I now say to you, you shall see a new miracle, and you shall regret it very sorely. But beating your chest then, say, I deserved it. Jesus turns to the children. Do not weep. Go to that tree and pick the fruit. But it is bare, sir, objects the little girl. Go. The girl goes and comes back with her dress lifted up and full of beautiful red apples. Eat of them and come with me. And to the apostles, let us go and take these 2 little ones to Joanna of Chuza. She remembers the benefits she received, and out of love she is merciful to those who were merciful to her. Let us go. The dumbfounded and mortified man endeavors to be forgiven. It is night, master. It may rain while you are on the way. Come back into my house. There is the maidservant going to take the bread out of the oven. I will give you some also for them. It is not necessary. You would give it for fear of the punishment I promised you, not out of love. So is this not the miracle? And he points at the apples picked on the bare tree, and which the 2 starving children are eating greedily. No. Jesus is most severe. Oh, Lord, have mercy on me. I understand. You want to punish me in the crops. Have mercy, Lord. Not all those who call me Lord will have me, because love and respect are not testified by words, but by deeds. You will receive the mercy which you had. I love you, my Lord. That is not true. He loves me who loves his neighbor. That is what I taught. You love but yourself. When you love me as I taught, the Lord will come back. I am now going. My abode is to do good, to comfort the afflicted, to wipe the tears of orphans. As a mother hen stretches her wings over the helpless chicks, so I spread my power over those who suffer and are tormented. Come, children, you will soon have a home and bread. Goodbye, Jacob. And not satisfied with going away, he orders the apostles to take up the tired girl. Andrew takes her up in his arms and envelops her in his mantle, while Jesus takes the little boy, and they thus proceed along the path which is now dark, with their pitiful loads, which no longer weep. Peter says, Master, these children were very lucky that you arrived, but for Jacob, what will you do, Master? Justice. He will not starve because his granaries are well stocked for a long time, but he will suffer shortage, because the seed he sows will yield no corn, and his olive and the apple tree will be covered with leaves only. These innocent children have received bread and shelter from the Father, not from me, because my Father is the Father of orphans also, and he gives nests and food to the birds of the forest. These children and all poor wretches with them, the poor wretches who are his innocent and loving children, can say that God put food in their little hands and leads them with fatherly love to a hospitable home. The vision ends thus, and I am left with a great peace. Jesus says, "This is just for you, O soul, which weeps, looking at the crosses of the past and at the clouds of the future. The Father will always have bread to put in your hand, and a nest to shelter his weeping dove. The lesson that I am the just Lord applies to everybody, and I am not deceived or adulated by false homage. He who closes his heart to his brother closes it to God, and God to him." Men, it is the first commandment, love and love. He who does not love lies in professing to be a Christian. It is useless to frequent the sacraments and rites. It is useless to pray if one lacks charity. They become formulae and even sacrileges. How can you come to the eternal bread and satisfy your hunger with it when you have denied a starving person a piece of bread? Is your bread more precious than mine? Is it more holy? O hypocrites, I put no limit on giving myself to your misery, and you, who are misery itself, have no pity on the miseries which, in the eyes of God, are not so hideous as yours, because those are misfortunes, yours are sins. Too often you say to me, Lord, Lord, you have me propitious to your interests, but you do not say so for your neighbor's sake. You do nothing for your neighbor in the name of the Lord. Look, what have your false religion and true lack of charity given you, both with regard to your community and to its individuals, to be abandoned by God? And the Lord will come back when you learn to love as I taught. But I say to you, little flock of good people who suffer, you are never orphans, you are never waifs. There have to be no God before his children could lack providence. Stretch out your hands. The Father will give you everything, as a father, that is, with love, which does not humiliate. Wipe your tears. I will take you and lead you, because I have pity on your languor. Man is the best loved in creation. Can you doubt that the Father may be more merciful to birds than to faithful men, since he is indulgent towards sinners and gives them time and the opportunity to come to him? Oh, if the world understood what God is. Go in peace, Mary. You are as dear to me as the two little orphans you saw, and you are even dearer. Go in peace. I am with you.